Guys, it's Tracy here. Just wanted to pop in today and share a little tidbit with you. Hopefully we are live here. I just want to pull something up here real quick that I want to share with you. So this morning in the wee hours when I was suffering from insomnia, I found a graphic on Facebook that I shared with you guys here. And I'll read it to you real quick, and then I want to talk a little bit about what I think the answer to the question that I posted to you was. So my question that I said was, do you ever hide who you are in the hopes of looking more professional or successful? What do you think would happen if your audience saw the real you? And now so the graphic here says, I think if you stopped hiding the at odds parts of yourself, you'd be a hell of a lot happier. Because I bet the things you think are bad or crazy are actually the missing pieces you need to attract your people, your purpose, and the sense of peace you've been hunting for. And it really, really struck a chord with me because there was a very long time in my business where I worked really hard to look professional. I wanted to look like I was super successful. I wanted to look like I knew what I was talking about. I wanted to look like I was the person who earned the degree, the master's degree on the wall back there. I wanted to look like I was somebody that you should trust with your course creation and with your business, and to help guide you and direct you. And I spent a lot of time feeling like I was an imposter in my business. I spent a lot of time feeling like not even like I didn't know what I was talking about, because I know what I'm talking about, but that nobody else was going to believe that I knew what I was talking about. And what I finally found, and now I'll be celebrating my 49th birthday here in just 2 months, right? Yep. Yeah, 2 more months. And that what I found is as the years go on, I care less and less what other people think about me. I'm an introvert. I have social anxiety. I very much want to fit in. I want people to like me. I'm a people pleaser, especially with the people that I know and love. But in general, that's fallen away to some degree. Like, I just care less. I'm more likely to make a conversation with a stranger. I am more likely to get in front of a camera and talk about something off the cuff. I'm just more likely now to care less and to worry less about what people think of me. So probably about 2 years ago, I started really showing up in my business as me, as who I am. Probably around the time that I rearranged my space here in my office. I had the way everything was set up, it looked like a very professional, very um, perfect little office with a little perfect backdrop for videos and things like that. And people would constantly, oh my gosh, your office is so professional. And I love that. It validated me in some way. The reality is that my office is a corner of my family room in my home. And previously I was turned the other way, and like, so I could just have the wall behind me exactly the way I wanted to, with meaningful sayings, which are still on the wall. And then I moved it and whatever. But now you can see I have a neon bitch light in the corner of my office. And I've had potential clients, comment to me on discovery calls that was that light back there? Does that say bitch? Like, why would you have that? That seems unprofessional. And the reality is, if the bitch light is unprofessional, or if me accidentally dropping an F-bomb is going to really offend you, then we shouldn't work together. You're not my people. So what I'm trying to get at here is, what I found over the years is that the more I reveal of myself, the more vulnerable I get, the more I show my audience that I am just a person just like you. Sure, I know a lot about course creation because I've done courses for almost 10 years now. I've been building online education. I went back to school, got my master's degree in that. Like, I know a lot of stuff, but on the base level here, I am just a normal person with normal fears, normal worries, and sitting in a corner of a family room, just like most of you guys are in your offices. I love it. Don't get me wrong. This is the best space. Um, because it's part of a bigger room and I've got 3 dogs, so they don't have to be crammed in here with me. It's great. I wouldn't change a thing. But like perfectionism is a myth. Nobody's perfect. There's no point in trying to look like you're perfect. And in fact, when you try to look polished and professional and perfect, you alienate people. You're not actually attracting people to you when you do that. You're alienating people. The other part about of that too is that I spent a long time trying to figure out how to tell people what I do without telling them that if they create courses without regard for educational psychology or learning theory, that they are doing it wrong and that they are destined basically to sell a course that gets bad results or no results at all, and that gets people asking for refunds, and that gets them nowhere in their business. It gets them bad PR. And I didn't want to say those words. I didn't want to come out and say, like, hey, you're doing it wrong. So I tried and tried and tried to find ways to say, to talk about what it is that I do without saying that. And what I found was I was in a mastermind a few months ago where we were talking about messaging and the things. Shout out to Lindsay Johnson. I found that the minute that I started calling it out and saying, hey, bad courses are bad for your business. Have you ever taken a bad course that left you feeling ripped off? Of course you have. We all have. And that is not the kind of way that you want to represent yourself and sell to your audience. That, so many more people talk about bad experiences than talk about good ones. So you need to make sure that yours is a good one and that you're not, spending all this time and effort creating something that is just going to end up coming back on you in a poor way. And when I finally started saying those words and not caring that I was being polarizing, that was when my business really, really took off. So being polarizing is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And, we've seen that in the midst of all of the racial inequality conversations that are happening. People who, are like, I support Black Lives Matter, or, or other people that I don't necessarily agree with that say, well, all lives matter, and they're not getting that point. And I don't get political very often, and I'm not trying to be political now, but what I'm saying is that if your business, and like a great mentor and colleague of mine basically has structured her entire business now around the fact that people should be treated equally, and if you don't represent that in your business, you aren't going to be in her circle, which I admire profusely. Um, and that's and it proves my point, right? That by being polarizing, you're pushing away people who aren't going to be a good fit for you anyway. You don't want to work with those people. You want to work with the people who relate to you and who go say yes, yes, yes every time that you speak their words, right? You want to attract people who, when you're talking, they're like, oh my God, it's like she's reading my mind, like we're like the same person. Those are your people. So by being polarizing and by being super specific about what you like and dislike and what what you believe, that's all, for the most part. I would say keep politics and religion out of that as much as possible. It's good for your business. It's not bad for your business. So showing up as you and showing up as a flawed individual. I remember I did a live, and you probably will be able to find it here in this group, a couple of years ago when my daughter flew to Scotland for a theater trip. And I had just come back from putting her on an airplane for a 2-week trip overseas. And I was kind of a puddle. And the very first thing I did, like I'd been crying at the airport, I'm tearing up just thinking about it now. The very first thing I did on that live was explain that I had just put my daughter on a plane. And I got so many messages, you guys, from people going, she's going to be great. It's all going to be fine. And I built connections by opening up and explaining. Sure, it wasn't about business, but it's about me, and my business is me. I'm a personal brand, and so we share all that. Um, a month from now, when she leaves, a month from tomorrow, when she leaves to go to college, you'll be seeing that same vulnerability from me and that same transparency. So I really, really challenge you to let your audience see who you are. I would love to hear comments here if you do that, if you feel like you do show up truly, authentically you. Drop me an emoji and let me know that you do that. If you need to work on that and you're struggling with that, struggling with letting go of that professionalism, I would love to hear from you about that too. That's something that I could definitely help you work on. Something that we can certainly talk about. Um, and about making sure that we are showing up as ourselves so that we're attracting the right people. Because it doesn't matter how many followers you have. If they're not your people, they're not going to buy from you when the going gets tough. When you're really asking for that sale, especially if you're selling yourself the way that you should be and selling your worth. The people who don't relate to you on a really, cosmic level, they're not going to shell out the cash. And the people who follow you, who adore you, who feel like you might be twins separated at birth, those are your raving fans, and those are the people who are going to support you again and again. And those are the people you want to be talking to. So that's the answer to the question. What would happen if you showed up as uniquely you, someone who's different from everyone else on the planet? You're going to attract your people, and they are going to be your raving fans, and you're going to serve them and get them results, and then they're going to come back to you again and again and again and tell their friends about you. So do it. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I will talk to you again soon.